Woo! Immersion break! Body reveal in 3, 2, 1, go! Surprise! I'm actually hiding a hyper-realistic, top dollar, high-end, fancy schmancy 3D model under my super cute exterior. And I promise that's all there's going on here. You believe me, right? I'm Iiji, a printmaker and a 3D modeler, and with the power of mixed reality, I can kind of like actually prove to you that I'm actually a printmaker by showing you a little of my work, or I could record myself screen printing to teach you how, record a cooking stream, I could do a workout, I could show off a fit, crochet, and like so much more. Mixed reality is the concept of combining IRL footage with your classic 2D or 3D digital elements, and we're seeing more and more of it cropping up in the VTuber sphere lately. And you may be wondering, Iiji, I became a VTuber specifically to not show myself and use a cute anime character instead. Why would I go and throw half of that away? And I'd say, I don't know, it's kind of fun, it looks kind of cool, and I'm here to make a bit of a case for it, baby. I know for most VTubers, the first choice for making content where most of the body's involved is by using VR, or making animations by hand themselves somehow, but both these options require either a lot of time or a lot of money, and usually in the end, kind of a bit of both. Can you afford several thousands of dollars in VR equipment? I can't. Or how about $1,000 or so for a nice 3D model? Or you can go the route I took, which was spending a couple years learning to make a model yourself and learn how to animate. That's a lot. And don't get me wrong, like in terms of immersion, it's probably the best route, but that doesn't mean it's feasible for everyone, and like that also doesn't mean that's the best solution for all use cases, right? Mixed reality, on the other hand, is great if you ever felt held back by the limits of using a 2D or 3D model for VTubing. If you're a dancer without expensive mocap gear, here's a solution. Want to do embarrassing stuff IRL as a reward for your viewers without revealing your face? How about like this? There's definitely some fun applications for it out there. So I'm gonna show you the different ways I've seen VTubers use mixed reality, from least to most kind of like involved on behalf of the person using it. And this isn't like a tutorial on how to do them per se, but just a bit of an overview of what's out there. The first avenue for mixed reality is just having a second camera trained on whatever you're doing. I've seen painting streams, cooking streams, crochet streams, and more done this way because all it really requires is a webcam, and I bet most of you have that in this post-Zoom world that we exist in. If you have a nice digital camera, that's even better. The good news is you don't need anything else fancy like a certain kind of model, extra applications, or like any of that, but you're at least gonna want some nice lighting still. And the most major drawbacks here, however, are privacy and video quality. For non-amenity's sake, these tend to be only what are called usually like hand streams. We focus on an activity like unwrapping snacks or crafting. But what happens if you're a forgetful fool like me and lean down into the frame? A face reveal, that's what terrifying. You gotta be super careful. A top-down camera without a lot of space under it can minimize this a bit, but that severely reduces what you can show and like what you can do with using this mixed reality. Secondarily, as an issue, you're limited by the quality of whatever camera you have available. Color grading a webcam to look nice can be a pain because they usually have so few options, and a lot of webcams aren't 1080p anyway, so do keep that in mind. You could potentially cast your phone screen to your computer to film with, but if you need your phone for face tracking for your model, then this isn't really an option. Sidebar, it might suck too if you're like me. My hands look kind of whack because my career isn't kind on them, and having a camera this close really lets you see all my eczema and goofed up nails in their full glory. So if you'd like to do this kind of stream and keep some sort of illusion up or something, second skin gloves like these with some stick-on nails and stuff like that can be kind of a great solution. I'd also suggest a nice tablecloth or like fun placemat and decorations to keep the quality of the stream up, you know? So if you're okay with a quick and kind of dirty method that may be a tad scuffed without a nice camera, then this might be for you. Second, if just a hands camera isn't for you, and if you're careful, you could try what some call 2.5D. Now, Kason is the main example of this I can think of, where she put her model's face on top of her own and tried not to move around too much. I personally would not recommend doing this though. Kason is comfy doing it because she knows that we know what she looks like. It isn't a secret, but if you don't want to do a face reveal, you should probably look for another option. And this isn't super high tech, so it isn't especially hard to do, but you do need to have a live 2D model or a 3D model or a PNG tuber model. With that said, I was also just like torn in general and even mentioning this as an option due to privacy concerns in the first place, so please do tread carefully. I don't want to be getting y'all into hot water. The third option I've seen, which I showed at the beginning of the video, is replacing your head with your VTubers using a program like Virtual Face, which is kind of one step up from the 2.5D approach. Virtual Face is sadly an iPhone-only app that superimposes a 3D model head onto your own and supports both base VRM and ARKit face tracking, which is pretty neat. It's got a lot of good customization options. Because it just blacks out the screen the second it loses tracking, you're pretty safe from an accidental face reveal. I tried it for about an hour one day just to like see what it would do, and it didn't slip up once, and I was doing some pretty crazy stuff, so gets a thumbs up in my book. This does let us have a lot of freedom for creative streaming and balance with privacy, and there's a while on Twitter where I was seeing VTubers posting pictures they took in public or like recording vlog-like videos outside using this program, which is pretty cool for VTubers. It's similar to the 2.5D option I mentioned first, but with better tracking, the head follows your motions, and it doesn't have those privacy risks as a kind of result. There are still a couple drawbacks here though. First, you have to have an iPhone. I would even further suggest having an iPhone that's a 10 or newer too, because the tracking and camera quality is so not great on older models that it's practically not even worth it. You are also limited by the resolution of your front-facing camera, which on my iPhone 12 looks pretty okay, but it's still a little funky. Second, for this specific app at least, you need to have a 3D model. You can always make one for free using something like Vroid or kitbash one together from parts on Booth, but if you're a live 2D VTuber, this might not be a great option for you. And finally, if you're planning to live stream and not just record a video like I'm doing, you're gonna need something to allow you to cast your phone onto a computer screen. If you're using a Mac, that's not so bad. You can screencast directly, I'm pretty sure. If you have a PC like me, on the other hand, you'll need a program like AnyMirror or something else to help you with that. Personally, this is my go-to, and it's pretty fun, was pretty easy for me to set up, but it definitely does still have its issues. I think it's a pretty cool solution for dancing, cooking, working out, playing instruments, and much more that would require more of your body to be visible than just a basic hand stream, so I think it's worth a mention. There may also be other apps or software you could use to achieve kind of a similar result too. This is just one of the ones I've had success with, but if you have another one that you've found, let me know, I'm interested. The last option I've seen, which takes more setup than the others, is green screening. This allows you to use any type of model at any angle, and the only parts of you that are in frame and not green will be visible, so it's pretty safe privacy-wise, but does require some pretty significant setup. Usually, a green suit without hands is used in combination with a green screen behind you. Your model's placed behind the chroma keyed footage, and a still image of the area is used at the very back behind the model to cover any gaps where you are green screened out. An object behind you would still be visible where it's not like being covered by your model, you know? I've even seen an even fancier version of this done by some, including Gloop Queen, where they have 3D hand tracking added into the mix on top of their real hands, which adds a really cool effect and boosts immersion, but that requires even more setup. And likely the addition of a device called Elite Motion, which is a hand tracker. It's what I use. It's a little mocap device, a little bit over $100, I think, but it can be cool. The benefits of green screening are that you usually wind up with a pretty high-end looking result. Any model type can be used, and there's really no privacy risks, and you still aren't revealing any of your body, but there's a pretty good bit more setup as a result. Green screens require a good lighting setup, a lot of space, usually some sort of rig to hold them upright, the green suit, and you can't get away with a webcam usually, or else your chroma keying is gonna look super crunchy. Seeing Gloop's setup on Twitter was enough to intimidate me out of this kind of setup, but if you're interested, don't be deterred. It can be pretty amazing and worthwhile, I would say, just looking at those streams. It's a little bit of a shorter tangent for me, and it isn't so much tips like I usually give as so much as it's a bit of just information to get you thinking, but I feel like we as a community have only just scratched the surface of what mixed reality VTubing is and can be, and I'd love to see more VTubers try it out and innovate on it, as I feel like it really opens up a lot of opportunities for us that are usually closed by our kind of solely digital existence. I'm also left with some kind of like rhetorical questions here of like, would you try mixed reality VTubing? Am I actually going to use it? Where do we draw the line with maintaining immersion or not? Like, what things can we do as VTubers that would be impossible or like super expensive without mixed reality? And what could make this sort of concept work better maybe? I'm intrigued to give mixed reality more of a shot, but like, who knows? Maybe I'm in the minority here and most VTubers would like to remain solely digital. You know, that's usually the reason we become a VTuber in the first place. You don't want to be showing yourself physically. But is anyone with me here wanting to try it? I don't know. We'll see. If there's interest, I can make some mixed reality related tutorials, and I have a quick one for you next week on using virtual face. But let me know your thoughts on all this. But as always, I hope this got some wheels turning for you, and if there are any other art or VTubing related topics you'd like to hear my thoughts on, let me know. I'll see you later. Farewell. Oh, it did detect me. Nope, have you detected? It lost me. Why is this happening?
You have to have probably a little bit of your head in it. I have no commentary. What? Cue me.
I look stupid.
Line. I can tell you look stupid in real life.